Hey, Munchkin here, and I made a video about roar. It's a new effect in Ableton 12, and it's one of my favorite features so far that I've been really enjoying. And so, yeah, I wanted to kind of go through it and sort of the similarities it has with other effects that Ableton already had and currently has, and kind of comparing the two.
Okay, so Roar 2 is a new addition to Ableton 12 as well, and it's a pretty powerful tool. I'm just going to show difference on what it sounds like with it on and off with what I've been messing with. Yeah, there's a lot more like clarity in the highs. So let's break this down. In Roar, you can expand up here, which is nice. I like seeing all this. It's pretty cool. And if we were to compare it with other effects that they already have, you can see the saturator. This is what it's doing. It's a saturator with a filter and delay of some sort, a feedback delay, and it has capabilities of different types of routing. You can use multiband, which is like an OTT, and you can use mid-side, which you can use in the EQ. Additionally, you can have the effects working individually or in parallel. If we were to compare it to what we have here in the saturator, the drive is essentially the same. Let's bring this down here real quick just so we can see the slope we have similar to the saturator here. The amount you're choosing is like how much you want to square it. So if you're using a saturator and you wanted to make it a soft sine, medium curve, as you can see, it's gradually getting harsher and harsher and squaring out a little bit more. Yeah, and so if we continue down that route, so you have the amount, and then the bias is kind of where it sits in that range, and the frequency here is for the filter. Going back over to next to the drive, we have the tone, which is kind of like what an OTT does. We're just adding saturation to whatever is above or below the frequency range you choose here. So in this, I put 90 hertz is too low, basically because that's where I have most of my sub frequencies. So I'm just going to put 90 here, and then if we listen, I'm going to raise the tone up and down, and you can kind of hear where the saturation is taking effect. So that's nice to, like, if you wanted to do like just a real quick, you know what, I just literally just added saturation to the highs. But there's a lot more opportunities inside this as well. You get different types of slopes depending on how you want it down here. Let's keep something simple. I'm going to keep it soft sine. And the pre button here is if you have it on, you're essentially saying I want to have the saturation applied either before or after the filter takes place. So if you had an auto filter and a saturator right next to each other on the chain, you're basically saying which one goes first. And of course, you can choose which type of filters you want. It also has a built-in compressor here at the end, so you can choose the amount that you want. It has a time mode, so you can choose like the type of feedback and how fast you want. So the milliseconds is really low, so it's like phasing. But if we increase the milliseconds, so you could probably do some cool stuff if you ended up grouping this into an instrument rack, say, and then we just said, hey, let's set this to macro 1, and then we'll just say, I don't know, maybe we never want it to go below a 32nd note. That's 0.29, 0.29. Oh yeah, so let's just say 118. That's like my quarter note. Actually, let's make that the highest. And so we get some really funny stuff. And we'll just make the min at the lowest. And now you can control a knob here. You can do some. That's actually kind of similar to what an echo essentially does. Let's raise this up here. And now let's change this to multiband. So I'm going to pull in an OTT to kind of like show the similarities here. And the OTT, right, you can control the decibel level of the high, mid, and lows. You can choose where those lows and highs start and end. And you can choose how much you want to compress it. So in this situation, what we have here is kind of that, but for a saturator. So I have it to OTT, and we have the lows, mids, highs, right? And then we can set the lows in here. So let's say we want to go back to the 90, right? And then we'll say, let's say 2K. Let's say, right where it's at. So yeah, let's set that to 90 and this to 2K. So this low, any saturation that you add is just only going to be added to 90 and lower, where the highs will be 2K and higher and everything, and this is in between. And then, of course, the filter with the pre is the same, so you can just filter out the that area. Additionally, if you just wanted, for some reason, there just be no lows, if you wanted to cut out all the sub, you just, which is basically like EQing it almost. Something more interesting in the high end. You know, you can just kind of mess with stuff like that. You can also have a large source of modulation. So if you click a button, you'll see that it will highlight the piece that you want to modulate, just make it a little bit easier for your eyes. And you can choose whether you want LFO, 1 or 2, envelopes, some noise. So for example, let's say I wanted the amount, let's actually do the bias. So that's like kind of moving back and forth like this. And then we can, let's see, let's do it to alpha. We'll do it to 100%. So it's going to go back and forth all the way. Increase, let's make it happen every 30 seconds. So, because I have 30-second notes, right? So let's do it every 30 seconds. You can choose how you want it here. That's funny. And let's do the amount a lot less, so it's not bouncing as much. Yeah, you can just do stuff like that. You can do the same thing with the envelope. Every time the note is being hit, it will trigger the amount of whatever you choose. So let's say I wanted this to go kind of like that. I guess you could do this to the envelope, put it to a lot. So if I was to break down what I currently have, I have 2 roars over here. Let's talk about the mid side, in fact. So this mid side one I have is, if you take an EQ and you set it to mid side mode, it's essentially what you're seeing is where the width lies. Most of our basses, you want it mono in the mids or in the lows. So like everything in this area, we're going to want to have mid. So if I add this here, basically we're making all these frequencies in this instrument mid, and then you can affect the sides, however, the width, however you want. And a lot of times, if you really wanted to boost those, that way you're only EQing those and not the width and not just anything below here. So in that regard, the way we can kind of look at the roar is that we have the mid sides, right? So you just think of it that way. We're adding saturation only to the side. For the sides on this, I just modulated the amount to the envelope and the noise. So every time the note triggers, the envelope activates, and it will move the amount kind of like that. You can see just a little stutter. And then the Wanderer, just a little bit of the noise is added to it.
Yeah, right now I've been using this a lot. I've been kind of raving on it with other people online, and it's definitely really helps with like the creative process flow of trying to get things and ideas out a little bit quicker with having it all kind of compact into like one thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was at least a little bit helpful. So yeah.
From currently and from previous Ableton. Oh, quiet. I'm trying to record. Aw, you're so cute. And this is just showing how much you can. Oh my God. The bias is where it starts.